Hello everyone and welcome to another light review on a World of Warships ship. This one is the Tier 4 American cruiser, the Phoenix. Now, I must admit, when I first got this ship back in the closed beta test, I was disappointed as hell. I just came out of the St. Louis, getting into my Tier 4 ship, and I had no guns. Where were my guns? I only have 2 on the target at any one time. But yeah, it is a really big difference in ship and playstyle from the St. Louis. So at first I thought this ship was appalling, but it wasn't the ship that was bad, it was me trying to play it wrong. Now that I've got a lot more experience with it, I love this ship. It's like 80% cruiser, 20% American destroyer, and you need to play it like that. You need to try and keep those dodges high, and you need to try and spew out the firepower, and the torpedoes are just a bonus. So let's get onto some gameplay. This is the first game I've got out of 3 for yous. And I did forget to take screenshots, I'm afraid, so there's just the battles, no end of battle sort of reports. And as you can see, it was a tier 5 game where I'm a tier 4 ship, but that's nothing to be worried about, especially when you're this fast. I generally find I get tier 5-6 games in the Phoenix. Now we'll speed things on a wee bit, well, teleport things on a wee bit, just to when the action is about to start. Speeding up here because I'm a fast ship. I feel partly responsible for trying to cap the circles early so we mark up some more points, and there is a lovely destroyer. That is one thing that hasn't changed from when you were in the St. Louis. When you see a destroyer and you're in a cruiser, you've got to be aiming for them, you've got to be gunning for them. And here I'm just going to put some preemptive torpedoes down, maybe just ward them off, keep them at a wee bit distance, not expecting to hit them. And look at this, such a tight wee corner. The Phoenix is such a manoeuvrable ship. I'm able to pull it off. Shame I was just close enough that it absorbed my shells. And in case anyone's wondering, I still have a bit of a lisp thanks to my wisdom teeth mucking up. It's not really sore, it just makes it awkward to move my mouth around. Speeding things up till we get back into the action here. And here we are, we're going to go hunting that destroyer again, and just in a second we will be starting to arm and fire. Oh, maybe not the destroyer quite yet. Yeah, you've got such a fast reload speed on these guns, you want to be firing them almost all the time. And in most games you'll get close to 100 hits. And you may only have 4 guns you can have aiming at the opponent at any one time, but that's 4 guns on each side, and that is also 4 guns with a good reload speed. We take quite a wee beating here, a number of critical hits, and set on fire, so down the repair goes. And we're still aiming at that destroyer, trying to take him out, because it shouldn't be much longer until he has been annihilated. The repair has done its job, all our problems are solved. Then we start taking more shots. But we're also dishing them out, and we're about to be rewarded. There we go, nice, beautiful kill. I think I'll drop some torpedoes round about now, just to have a wee bit of fangs in the water and stop people following me as closely. And we have taken another critical hit, which has forced us now to keep the same steering direction, which is actually not that bad here because it's really hard to hit a ship that is doing a full 360 constantly. As you'll see, I'm able to actually dodge quite a lot of shots in the coming wee bit, as well as some torpedoes. And once again here, I'm using torpedoes as a defensive weapon, which is a bit counterintuitive, but when you think about it, torpedoes are quite a good area denial and defensive weapon. And there we go, another destroyer kill. Now that the destroyers are out of the way, I can start concentrating on the other ships in this area, namely that one right at my backside at the moment. I'm actually pretty badly beaten up, and I'm in hide mode. As long as there's no other cruisers nearby, I should be relatively safe though. And by relatively, I mean not that safe. I'm safer with a battleship as an enemy because they'll find it hard to kill me, but they'll still probably one-hit KO me. Whereas a cruiser and a destroyer, I've got a lot faster firepower. We'll put it that way. So at least I'm relatively safe with just battleships at the moment. But as you can see, I'm still pulling back, putting as much distance as I can between me and him so that it's much easier to dodge and much harder for him to aim. Speed things up a wee bit till we get back into a fight. And oh look, another battleship. We'll lay down some supportive fire in a second just to help our allies over here, but we're mainly just trying to avoid any sort of shells that could be coming our way, trying to keep ourselves safe because we're literally a one-hit KO for almost any ship at this point. Got a few good hits, but now I'm getting a bit too close. I don't want to get in the secondary battery range, which I'm probably not that close to, but still I'm the closest ship. Some torpedoes just in case he's going to follow me, or if he keeps going that direction, could be helpful as I pull back, and we'll go back to our original target. Oh, that looked close. Reloading, aiming, firing. Now there we go. At this point I expected to be dead about a minute ago, but I thought, right, I'm just going to try and spew out as much firepower as I can, help my allies and do as much damage as I can before I die. With that battleship gone, turn around, let's go get the other one, give some support and fire there, and oh, uh-oh. There is an enemy cruiser, and with cruiser's high rate of fire, he is probably going to make mincemeat out of me. Turning, pumping some shells into him, trying to do as much damage as I can before I go down. And whilst he's not aiming at me, I'm trying to get to those islands so I can hide behind those hide behind those islands and let my allies take care of him. Decide to go for the second island so I can get behind the battleship and do lots of support and fire, as well as dodging, hiding. But the shells are coming, he's aiming at me now. We got a wee bit lucky there, we got lucky there. I expected to be dead before now. And oh, when's the next load of shells going to come in? Managing to get some more of our own shells away. Really expecting to be dead now. I decide that I'm dead in seconds. I'll be as well trying to set this battleship on fire to do the maximum damage I can to help our allies. And 3, 2, 1. Well, I thought it was there. Oh, we get another shell out. I thought it was right there I died. Ah, here they come. Blam. Yep, that's us gone. Just speeding things up a bit well as we watch my ship sink to the bottom of the deep blue sea. Bye bye, Phoenix. You served me well. We go over to the other side of the battlefield and we see these two battleships duking it out. Really slow, painful match. The Battle of the Giants. Shells coming from their secondary batteries, it looks like. The reload time on battleship guns is horrendous, but the damage they can dish out is also horrendous. There we go, after all that time our guy can finally fire his guns, and that last shell did some great damage. And oh look, torpedoes to finish him off. Lovely jubbly. Here we go, and this is the last enemy ship alive. That one I was shooting at earlier, and he was not going to last much longer than he did. Chalk one victory up to us. And moving on to the next game. This game I was also roughly mid-tier, and let's say I had a good game, but I'm not going to try not to spoil anything at this point. Later on in the game I do some pretty epic dodging, evasive maneuvers, throwing off the enemy's aim, making it hard for them to hit me, hard for them to aim at the right point, but I'll show you that there. Here we've skipped ahead to when the combat actually starts, like I normally do, and we're just starting to spew out some shells, typical normal early game. I felt a bit too close to my allies here. I felt like there was too many of us on this one little narrows, too good for torpedo bombers and stuff like that, so I'm going to head in a different direction from them in just a few seconds. Also, they seem to be driving right into the middle of the enemy, so I didn't think that was that much of a great idea. I feel like I've already overextended and overexposed myself, so I am pulling them out. Yep, I'm getting out of there. But as I do so, I am spewing shells at the enemy. You're in a cruiser, you spew shells, especially low tier. Higher tier, you escort and spew shells. Speed things up a wee bit for a few seconds just to try and keep it fresh. I'm pulling back and I'm heading over to this flank that looks like it could use some help as the enemy are making a big push. And I'm going to try and provide a lot of support and fire and dodge a lot of incoming shells if I can at the same time. Now, a lot of my team were like going YOLO, one guy way in front of the other and just getting themselves killed at this point. So it was around here I started to get a bad feeling about this game, like that one guy way miles up ahead you see at the moment. Also, you know it's bad when every direction you look, you're outnumbered. Like earlier when I was pulling back, I was outnumbered. I come over here, we're outnumbered. As the ship is pretty fast, especially for a cruiser, the enemy often underestimate how far ahead they have to shoot. That's why you often see ships shooting just behind me. I was getting close to the edge of the border, so I decided to turn. With hindsight, I probably should have turned the other way, increased my distance a wee bit instead of getting a wee bit closer, but it didn't really make much of a difference because they're all interested in the YOLO guy up there, who has now perished, and I'm the closest. So once again, it's time to turn tail and, well, politely run. So I started to pull away, going back from the direction I came from, but given as good as I'm getting at the same time, I'm going to put some torpedoes out there as a defensive, sort of don't chase me as before, but keep an eye on them. Yeah, this ship is pretty good on the defensive when you combine the torpedoes with its speed, the area denial, getting around corners, ducking, weaving, evasive actions. It's quite a good wee ship. Still keeping an eye on those torpedoes? I hope yous are. Well, I'm turned around here, but I'll look back in a second to let you see, and just about now, yep, one idiot actually ran into them. I suppose I've done that before, been caught off guard, wasn't expecting torpedoes, then all of a sudden they're right on me, but still, yeah. You should always expect the torpedoes. Speeding things up again here, just as I'm running, trying to get back into the action, because they're retreated a bit too much behind there. But now they've got some allies up there, I need to go back and support them. And now I'm starting to get really low on health. The enemy have a slight advantage in ships, even though it doesn't feel like it, because I'm constantly been fighting 4 or 5 enemy ships at once. Just makes you think, how on earth would the guys losing on the other side? We don't know. Maybe they got really unlucky. Don't judge. Once again, we're in a really familiar position. I've had an ally just goes YOLO, charge at the enemy, and then dies. So I think it's time to concentrate on my evasive actions. Catch me if you can, suckers. Oh well, couldn't last forever. And that was a good solid 2.5 minutes that I was able to evade them with next to no health, so I think that was quite good. You actually see the number of shells landing around me. That was quite good. Now here we're on our friend with the Arkansas beta, the ship you got for participating in the closed beta test. I have this ship, I quite like it. It has a large number of guns. It is almost exactly the same as its counterpart at tier 4. But it's still great for training your crews in the battleship line of America. But battleships take forever. Let's go see what our sitting ducks are up to. Whack. Yep. Uneventful. Oh look, sitting duck number 2. Okay. Me dead. Let's go back to the battleship. Still duking it out with those 2 ships over there, but oh! What's this? A cruiser behind you. Right mate, go take it out. You have a large number of guns, 1 or 2 good volleys with citadel penetrations, and that guy's gone. You're still going after the battleships miles away. You're going to be able to hide from the battleships in a second. Go after the cruiser. Go after the cruiser. The cruiser's going to come and get you from behind. The cruiser's much faster than you. You're not going to be able to escape. At least turn your guns! The battleship's no longer a threat. You've got a mountain between you and them. Go after the cruiser. Oh, this hurts. Yeah, I don't even think he's trying to go after the cruiser. He's not even turning his guns, even though he can't look at the battleships anymore. I can't watch this anymore. Let's go see what the cruisers are doing. And by cruisers, I meant aircraft carriers. Slip of the tongue, folks. Oh, these aircraft carriers are not having a good time. Look at that. 3 ships right on top of them. It's not going to be a good day for them either. Still, they managed to take out 1 there. And oh, are they going to get a second? We'll see shortly. Are they going to get the second? Are they going to get that second? They're going to land. And they got it. Lovely. But, sitting duck, what is the enemy going to do? Torpedoes. So even though they did quite a good job there, they still were sitting ducks. What's the other guy up to? Oh, at least he's not sitting still anymore. But that's the corner of the map. You'd be better off trying to ram him. Even though you're not going to get anywhere nearby him, at least it'd be entertaining to try. But yeah, nah, they were screwed. There was nothing they could really do. They got quite lucky to get those 2 kills. But on to the next game, as we obviously lost that one. And that was the end of it, by the way. The battleship did die too shortly after I left it. Once again, as you see, we are roughly mid-tier in the Phoenix. I always find I generally am mid-tier in the ship. Mid-tier, lower tier, one or the other, but the games all feel about the same because you're doing roughly the same things to about the same effectiveness. Skipping ahead, as I said, this is when the combat and fighting starts. And we've got quite a large amount of enemies coming at us from the front. So I'm going to try and spew as much damage onto them as possible. Maybe try and set 1 or 2 of them alight. Turning to the right as well so I can get this island for cover to try and reduce the number of enemy ships that are able to shoot at me at once. And I'm a wee bit confused about what my ally is doing just ahead of me. He's acting as though he's a destroyer waiting in ambush to lay some torpedoes. But he be a cruiser. You should be firing your guns, mate. And that accent wasn't trying to do any accent in particular, I was just letting my belly rumble. So no offence intended, and it was no accent in particular if anyone took offence. And I'm just filling time here because we're just spewing shells. And the enemy are coming after me, so I'm going to start turning to get away from them. We've already took a nasty amount of damage. We're on orange health already. Not that that should be surprising. The Phoenix has very little health in comparison to a lot of other ships, especially battleships. Everyone's got low health compared to them. But you're quite a light ship in the Phoenix. I had my steering knocked out, which I wasn't really that bothered about because it was turning me in the direction I wanted to turn up until around about now, and I decided no, I need to get that fixed. I need to turn the opposite direction and get the hell out of here. As normal in the Phoenix, as you see, I often need to pull back because you're a fast ship, you overextend and then you need to retreat. But I also seem to find that I like to be retreating in the Phoenix because you're so fast, you can just wiggle a wee bit and it makes for great evasive maneuvers. Enemy ships find it hard to aim at you and you just see shells land all around you, just like earlier. As it's hard to compensate for the way the ship's going to be turning when you don't know, and all you can see is the narrow backside of the ship. It's kind of like just wiggling your arse in your enemy's face and going, come and get me. It's really what it is. But I also find that I don't know when to stop retreating. Like here, that ship's gone and now I've got no one to fire at, so I need to turn my ass around and get back into the fight because now I've just been taken completely out of it. So I'm speeding things up as I turn around to head back into the fight. We're pulling forward now. Take a look, our team is winning quite well. We're not down a single ship, they're down a couple. So I'm starting to feel quite good. I'm back in the combat now, I can start landing some shells on the enemy again. And I also see an island I can use to take cover just ahead of me, but whilst I'm also taking cover, there's some enemies over to the left that I was planning to fire at, and then pull back and start firing on these guys again before they had time to start firing and take account of me. And for once the plan goes exactly according to plan. Use an island to take myself out of their firing arcs, come over here, I can hide for a wee bit, let them no longer start aiming at me and fire at these guys and annoy them whilst I'm about turning. And here is another example of just how maneuverable this ship is. I'm in a small wee narrows, but I'm still able to pull off that tight turn and not maroon myself on that island. Was pretty close, pretty damn close, but still, I made that turn. Here I'm just sending some more shells over at them, giving them a sort of goodbye kiss as I head back over to attack my original targets, now that they've probably forgotten about me and are no longer worried about me. So there we go, just a few more shells, goodbye kiss, mwah, bye bye. Okay, maybe a few more, because I'm just that kind of guy. Right, my original targets are coming back into view. I just can't stop giving these guys their goodbye kiss. If I can actually start turning around and engage my primary target again, that would be nice. Bad me. Right, come on, engage. Nope, wrong target me. Start engaging your main target. Yeah, you can support them all you want, but you're going to live or die over here. There we go. That's me starting to go. And is he reversing? Yeah, the reverse can be handy sometimes, but this is not one of those times. You should never just be reversing away from your enemy. It's only slightly better than standing still in their face. You should always be trying to be moving as fast as possible, even in a battleship, to make it as hard as possible for them to hit you. Because if you're standing still, they're going to find it easy to get stuff like citadel penetrations on you. Yeah, a cruiser moving backwards is like a battleship moving forward. So cruisers, you definitely don't want to be just reversing. But on the other hand, never look a gift horse in the house and say it's bad. Yeah, you know what I mean. Turning around because I decide I'm going to go straight for these guys and I need to head up the narrows, and whilst I'm waiting and can't shoot at them, put some shots into my good old buddies. But now, back onto my main targets. Won't be long until that mountain's giving them some cover, but I'm going to zip up there and I'm going to aim at the other one whilst he's behind the cover. This is just a good example of how good these guns are at rapid firing. The rate of fire, you may only have 4 guns, but you're still... Now that I've got a fully upgraded Phoenix, I'm spewing out shells almost as fast as the St. Louis. Well, maybe not. I can still pretend, okay, guys? I can still pretend. But for a ship this fast and manoeuvrable with some torpedoes as an extra bite, I do find that the shells, the 4 guns at one time, is enough for me. but still would prefer to be made out of guns like the St. Louis. Oh yeah boy, that thing has got more guns than it has armour. But you cannot have everything in one ship. It's just the two ships have a vastly different playstyle, which is why I didn't like it at first, because I wasn't used to it. I had no idea. I was expecting to get like a better version of the St. Louis, because it was the next in the tech tree to it, but it's such a vastly different ship. Okay, the threat of torpedoes being in the water has actually made him see sense, and he's turned around and he's heading away from us using forward momentum. So he is actually finding it much easier to avoid and run away from us now. And as this part is starting to drag, and I've been filling up time by talking about the ship, I'm going to speed things up a wee bit, just so we can start getting to some more juicy bits, because this is just the same stuff over again. I'm spewing shells, we're going after them, and we are comfortably in the lead now. As you can see there, the number of enemy ships is going down, whereas ours is going down slower. And it would have been much simpler for me to just say we're winning. But I'm nothing at the end of the day if I'm not a rambler. Putting some more shells into him. We've damaged these ships quite a lot throughout the game. Start looking over at that carrier, because he's going to be a juicy target in a short time. There's also a lot of planes going by. I think they're all returning to their ship, so I should be able to just leave them be. And there's even more ships coming in. Planes coming in from behind me, but they're all just returning to their carrier, so they're nothing for me to worry about. And now, let's change targets and go after this airship carrier. Airship carrier? I'll get there one of these days, folks. I'll stop being tongue-tied and saying the wrong thing, but still, we're pummeling him. We set him on fire, he repaired it, so what can you expect? Because he can't fight whilst he's on fire. But we've set him on fire again, so now he can't launch planes or receive. I start aiming further forward now, because I can't set him on fire in the same place twice, but I can set him on fire in a different location of his ship. But nope, there we go, there he is gone, and he is dead. Well, yeah, I kind of already said that, didn't I? And now we have this battleship. Let's put some torpedoes out in front of him, stop him trying to get too close to me. Should be easy enough for him to dodge them, but there's more about making sure he stays at a distance, as he has secondary batteries that could tear me a new backside. And although I have around half my health left, that's not much in a Phoenix. So we're going to spew HE at him, trying to set him on fire. We're a cruiser, so we basically just spew HE all the time now, ever since that update that gave their battleships their belt armor. Could use AP at range still, but it's just more reliable to set them on fire and knock out secondary batteries and stuff like that. I find it supports your team more to be doing stuff like that than to trying to get those citadel penetrations that are going to be pretty elusive and hard to do at such large range anyway. But anyway, he is gone, and there's just that enemy aircraft carrier that has sent some dive bombers at us left. The dive bombers come down, set me on fire, I repair straight away because we're low on health and that fire would be nasty. But he is a goner and we win, and I think it was about 1,900 base experience I got there. Not modified experience, base experience. And so, that's the Phoenix. It's a nasty little ship. It is quite a good wee ship. And I hated on it a bit too much when I first got it. Especially with like 2 guns. It's coming from the St. Louis, it is a vastly different ship. And it'll take time to get used to. But when you do, it is a very nice, good little ship. Now, I hope you have all enjoyed this video. Give it a like, all that jazz. You guys are awesome, great. Thanks for the support. And I'll see you all next time.